Okay, I'm going to run through farming an area, and I've labeled this as attack by land, air, and sea. I've done that because if you're truly farming an area, your idea is to take over the market share of the entire area. And to do that, you really need to start being known by all the people in that area as the true real estate professional and the expert for the area. Now, before I get into this, I will also say that this doesn't have to necessarily be a farming area slash neighborhood. It could be an organization that you're talking to. It could be really any group of people. But the most common one used in real estate is going to be, a neighborhood area or a farm area, a certain neighborhood that we're going to be working on. But it could be anything as far as some of these marketing tactics are concerned. The main thing is you want to become known as the expert for that particular place. So I'm going to go through it and just give you some ideas about what I would do to completely take over an area. And when I do so, you'll see that there's a lot of different things that you can do in here. My recommendation would be to start with doing one or two of them, do them consistently until you have a system set up where they're not you're not spending a lot of time on it. And once you get systems set up for one or two, then add it again. This does take time. People are going to have to see you over a period of months, but over time you will quickly be able to, relative to, I say quickly, within the first year or so, you're going to really start getting some traction on it. And if you really go hard at it, you might be able to get traction in a quicker fashion, just a matter of how much you put into it. So I put on here, of course, land, air, and sea. And the reason I've done that is because it takes 5 to 7 times of being seen before a brand is going to be remembered by the person seeing it. So, a lot of agents have attempted to do farming just by dropping, mail. Well, that means if you did mail every month, it's going to take you 5 to 7 months before anyone actually, even remembers it. And then maybe longer before they pay attention, which is why we think multiple avenues and mediums for advertising is the right way to go. The most effective branding strategies do use multiple advertising distribution platforms and consistent branding in all companies, across all companies, total increases revenue by 23%. So for us, it's, I think, even more powerful than that because you can truly get to the point where people are contacting you for questions and for advice and to list their houses versus you having to prospect so much to contact them. So once you've accomplished doing some of the things in here for a consistent period of time, well, what you'll see is your job in real estate gets a lot more fun and easy as people call you asking them to list their house or to help them buy one. Sellers are going to start beginning to see you as a local expert, and the community members will begin to refer you buyers for the area as well. Both buyers and sellers will reach out to you for help from your trusted brand. All right. So when I talk about branding, advertising activities for farming, once again, we don't want to just do one activity. So we want to do land, air, and sea attack. And to do that, we can combine a bunch of different strategies. You don't have to do all of them, but the more you do, the more effective your branding is going to be and the more market share you're going to grab and the faster you're going to grab it relative to when you do it. So we're going to run through these, but as a quick overview of them: snail mail, email, social media, door knocking, hosting and community events, banner ads, pay-per-click marketing, open houses, and you can attend HOA meetings. There's probably other things you could throw in there as well, but these are ideas that are going to get you some basic stuff. When I say other things, I know of an agent who, every year for the 4th of July puts American flags with his business card attached to them on every mailbox, and it just looks really pretty throughout the neighborhood. He's very well known for doing that, and that's just part of his brand. So there's all kinds of different things you can do, but we're going to kind of go through these and dive into them in a little bit of depth. All right. So for mail, and this is snail mail that we're talking about. There's a couple different things you can do as far as ideas, really anything you mail with the proper branding, and you want everything that you send out to kind of have the same color scheme, your logos look the same so people start noticing it. But a market update is one of my favorite mail pieces. That's something that if you send a market update once a month, once a quarter, something on a regular basis, a market update's as simple as a card that shows the recent sales and activity in their local area or neighborhood. People start seeing that, and they start as they start seeing it over time, they start realizing that you've got market information, that you do work in that neighborhood, and they will start, and that you keep an eye on it. You have an idea what's going on with prices and so forth, and people actually will wait to look at it and see it in the mailbox once you've implemented the brand. So market update advertising is fantastic for a farm. Event advertising, we'll talk about hosting an event in a minute, but for now, the main thing is we can also invite people to those events with mail. Just listed. Just listed is a great thing if you're going after a neighborhood and you're wanting to get listings. You can actually do just listed, then under contract, then just sold. That's going to be 3 postcards that somebody's gotten from you. So now you're starting to see, hey, they got a market update from you. Then you got a just listed, under contract, and just sold. They start seeing that you're an expert and you're doing business in that area. The guy that I just had a guy sell a second home property of mine last year, a townhouse that I owned up in South Carolina from years ago. And he has been mailing me his just listeds and just solds in that area for the last 10 or 12 years, knowing that I lived out of state, knowing that eventually one day I would want to sell it. And so sure enough, as soon as I was in the mood to sell, he was the first one I called, because he's literally been keeping in touch with me for 10 years on it. Best practices, you're going to want, if you're going to do mail, you want to do it a minimum once per quarter. Monthly is better. And then, as I said before, you want to keep the look and feel of the mail consistent for branding. So email. So email, you can do some great things there. Emails aren't going to get opened at a huge rate, but once again, they're free pretty much to do once you have the email addresses, and they are another form of getting your name out in front of someone for the branding. So first of all, where do we get the email addresses? Well, if you're working a neighborhood, you've heard of people door knocking for prospecting. A great way to get it is just to go knock on somebody's door. Have a conversation with them, ask them how they like the neighborhood, have a normal conversation. Then as you're, leaving, just say, hey, by the way, most of our neighbors, or your neighbors, are already getting my monthly market update. You're not on that list, though. I'll send it to you next month. What's your email address? So I didn't really ask him if it was okay to have the email address. I just said, what's your email address? And what you'll find is by confidently asking for it in that manner, 90% of the people are going to just go ahead and give it to you. Now, as soon as they give you your email address and you write it all down, I would repeat it back to them, make sure it's correct, and say, great, what's your phone number? Most of them will just give you the phone number, even though there's really no reason for them to give it to you. They will, because you asked confidently and you seem like you're not being an annoying pest. So by doing that, now you've got their phone number if you ever need to call them, and you've got their email address to make sure you can get information to them. If you know somebody that's a member of the HOA or on the board, or if you are, you can, ask them for it. Or if you list a property in a certain neighborhood, once you get that listing, maybe your seller can ask for it from the HOA for you. But a lot of times you can get all of the email addresses for a community in one quick shot there. And then, of course, if you do host some events, which we're going to talk about, you can have a sign-up form there for them to leave their email. You can even stop the event, announce that you send out market update reports, and all the people that get them love them, and get you to sign up. Okay, so email ideas. So what would you send? Well, a monthly newsletter is awesome if you want to, if you can take the time to put together a quick newsletter once a month. And if you get yourself doing it, I think you'll find that you'll be able to quickly knock one out on a monthly basis. My favorite though is once again monthly market update, just like the mail. In Sierra, which is our CRM, we have the ability to build out a monthly market update. You just go to the CRM, go to the lead's name, and click search, like you're building a search for a buyer, but instead you build a market update, and you just add their subdivision to it, and then what's going to happen if you have their subdivision is you can set them up to get updated every 2 weeks or once a month, once a week. I think for once a month is good for somebody that has no desire of selling anytime soon. If you were to meet somebody who wants to move a little more quickly, you maybe do it bi-weekly, but it's just a nice thing for them to go get. Buyer and seller educational series, so you can write educational emails that people will actually want to read and email those out. And I like to include links to the website and our links to my page and so forth on that. And then of course community news. If you become known as somebody who knows the community well and as a real estate agent, people are going to give you business because of that. So by providing community news, you show your expertise on the area. Okay. Social media. My favorite thing for social media, and this is not talking about just your normal social media that you're going to do, this is really driven into a certain community. Build the page, build the group. If you're not a member of any social media groups right now, then I highly recommend that you do this. I recommend that you go, and so, let's say you live in Celebration. First thing I would do is see if there's already a community page for Celebration, and a group, a group of people, where they've invited the people that live in Celebration to be in a group and be able to talk together. And then you can take that page and just promote it and post relevant community news. This is not for advertising. This is just to allow people to know that you're a real estate professional. You can let them know that, but the entire page is just informative. New businesses that are coming to the area. I love to promote small businesses is what I think a great way to do. Let's say there's a small bagel shop that's opened up down the street in the community. Go talk to the owner, see if you can do a quick video on this bagel shop and let him know that you'll advertise it for free, and you'll put the whole thing together, and then all you're asking to do is share it with the people that work there and have them share it. You can really start putting together some good content just on local news on the local area. Invite everybody in the neighborhood to be a member of the group, and now all of a sudden you are the neighborhood expert, and they will just know that you're a realtor just because you'll let them know that's what you do for a living. But once again, don't over advertise on this page. You want to keep people involved. You want to keep people communicating with each other and interacting with each other, and you basically become the center of the community for information. And that is one of those powerful things you can do to take over our neighborhood right now. If you do it right and you really promote the small businesses that are in the area, you really start talking about all the news and all the new things that are coming. You invite everybody to talk and get everyone else involved that's in the community and posting on the page and being a part of the group. You can really see that take off to where you can grab a huge portion of the market share just off of this alone. Okay. On your own personal social media, you're going to have people will click over to that. So make sure about 1 out of 5 posts that you do are real estate related. That way you can brand yourself as a professional on that side. But the main thing is going to be for this particular section is just how we handle the groups and getting everyone to just come in and be a part of the group and communicate amongst each other as the local community with yourself as the center as the group mediator. All right. Of course, you can always do paid social media advertising, and I'm available to teach anyone how to do that and to go through Facebook's back-end platform. I'll admit it is complicated, and some means there's a couple different tricks and so forth to learn how to do. However, everyone that I see that's advertising that they do it for other people, they're doing something I think is real simple once you get over the initial, oh, this is a vast, huge platform that I'm scared of. So as far as content that you could be doing, and this is not for that group that we talked about, this is just, you can do it a few different ways. So you might be posting just listed, you might post your just solds, a video about your marketing plan. You can actually take all of those email addresses and phone numbers that you've gotten from your other hard work, you can upload them to Facebook and then have Facebook run ads only to those people. That way you are spending pennies on the dollar. I mean, your advertising is going to cost you next to nothing, and you're going to be famous on social media because they're going to see you over and over because that's all you've paid to run it to. So you can share our content that I put out and that you'll see us put out from time to time. You can make neighborhood videos. If there's a new construction community, I think it's great to go in and take a video of the model and show that off. I mean, there's all kinds of different things you can do just displaying the neighborhood. Maybe you get a drone out and fly over the top of the neighborhood and show some of the different aspects, create an informative piece on it. But those are all things that you can do. You can blast, and once again, all you're doing is branding yourself, and people are going to start seeing all of these things and go, wow, that guy really knows our neighborhood, and he really is kind of the neighborhood expert. And once again, we haven't had to say that we really sold a bunch of houses in there. You don't have to have been doing this for 10 years. You just do the marketing and everyone will assume that you are the expert and start calling you for business. Targeting, I talked about that a little bit. People who email a list, people who like your page, people who go to a certain web page, people who open a market report, whatever that might be. And I can basically show targeting on any of those things. All right. Community events. Community events can be one of the biggest things that we can do as far as a farming practice, and a few different ways to do it right now. As I'm recording this, we're in the middle of our COVID-19. We're kind of coming on the backside of that, we hope, but that's got everybody to be together, so I don't think this needs to stop. You can invite the neighbors for a Zoom happy hour once we get back going, which we hope we are for long term when we're finished. You might invite everyone to host a cookout. You might do a holiday pie giveaway, and I talked to an agent who was doing free whipped cream bottle or can of whipped cream for a referral. He gave out tons of whipped cream and sold tons of houses just off of a pie giveaway. And then mega open house events. If once you do get the listing in that neighborhood, and you do the listing in that neighborhood, I would blow it up. I would do whatever the HOA will possibly allow you to do. If you can have music out there, you can have a taco truck, fancy house. This is not something I would do at every open house for every neighborhood, but if you can really stand out in the neighborhood that you're going after, you'll see it has a huge impact, and once again, just continues to brand you as the expert. Best practices on events. We want to start the invitations early. I mean, a couple months out early. Let's make sure that we have a chance to talk to them a couple times, remind them, ask them if they're coming. We want to mail. We want to post on social media. We want to go ahead and create an event and invite on social media and invite them to it. We can knock on their doors. We can do flyers. We can call them to invite them. We want to do as many things as we possibly can. And once again, just like everything else, we don't want to do just one way. We want to invite them in 2 or 3 different manners. And then when the community event is over, reach out to everyone to follow up whether they attend or not. You should definitely have a sign-in sheet for people to sign in so you'll know who came and who didn't. Maybe you do a giveaway, a drawing, so that they have even more incentive to sign up. But whether they came or not, I would reach out to them. For the ones that came, thank you for coming. For the ones that did not come, tell them you're sorry they couldn't. We hope that you come to the next one. But once again, it gives you another reason to connect with every single person in that community to make sure that that you're known as a knowledgeable person in the community, known in the community, and they know that you are a real estate professional. So door knocking, we talked a little bit about this for a couple other things. You know, my favorite thing to do if you're going to go knock on the door is actually go to is hand out market updates. So I will show anyone that would like to learn how to do it, how to print one out. But one easy way to do it is just to pull that neighborhood's activity for the last either 90 days or 6 months, and do a quick CMA in the MLS, print it, put a cover sheet on top of it that says, you know, XYZ neighborhood market update, and have that ready to hand out to people to give them information about what's going on in the community. Obviously, business cards. We talked about American flags. You got door hangers, and then, as we talked about before, if you just have a conversation and then confidently ask them for their email, and then once you get that, say, "Great, what's your phone number?" You will find that most people will be very willing to give you the email, especially if you've correctly explained that it's just for a market update. Sellers love them. People like the information, and just, you know, most of the community is already getting them, and they're not on the list. Okay. Other web presence, banner ads. Anybody that wants to really do a neighborhood, I think this is really cool to do, and I can show you how to do this. So you can build one page for the neighborhood. If you're doing videos, you can retarget people that visited a certain page, or that you can retarget people who watched a video. You can even get it only if they watched X seconds of the video. But the main thing is you're doing all this advertising to get people to interact with it. Well, once they interact with it, I can show you how to make it where once they've interacted with it, your banner ads follow them around on the internet. So now they actually see you in a banner ad, and, you know, like I used to run, the one that I used to run said, extensive marketing for maximum results, your house sold for top dollar, any of those things, you can run them. You know, community expert, you can run that for that type, that whatever, the, you know, XYZ community expert. But you can put it on the banners. Banners are very inexpensive to have built. I think it's about $50 to get 3 different, I think we just did it. There was like 3 different style of banners and like 5 or 6 sizes for $50. I mean, it's dirt cheap. And then once again, the advertising is dirt cheap because you're only going to advertise it to certain people that visited that page. So that's going to be less than the community. I mean, you're talking about, you know, pennies a day. You can do a web page for the community. I can show you how to do this in Sierra. Once again, we can retarget people that visit that community page with the banner ads, and we can also drive traffic to that community page. Pay-per-click. If you're working with us here in Market Connect, you're already getting a ton of leads from pay-per-click for us, so you know what that is. But we might choose some really strong keywords that are super neighborhood driven, just to get you out there, so that that branding's consistent as anybody is searching for things on the internet about their community. Next door is a great thing. If your community has a next door page, you should definitely join it. If not, you should create it and invite everyone. And then we talked about filming, you know, videos, open house videos, and post them to YouTube. And there's also some tricks I can show you personally, if you like, one-on-one, about how to work to get your YouTube videos higher up on the search engine. All right. So the overall path to success for this is, you know, first step is to find the right neighborhood. Where you live is the easiest to get involved, but you can do it anywhere that you want. So you're not locked down to that. It's just easier if you're going to be doing it a lot for it to be close by. I will be happy to go over with anyone and go through how to look at turnover rates for a neighborhood. First American Title, I guess I put American Title on here, but it's First American Title. Also has a great website that gives them to you and saves you a lot of the time and work. We can get you access to that. And then you can also use the MLS to look and see if any other agents already own market share in that community. If somebody already has half the neighborhood, you might want to go to the one next door. And I can show you how to do all of that as well. So step 2 is create a plan. I would start with 1 or 2 of these methods and then consistently grow to do as many of them as you can. Keep in mind, the goal here is that when they go to the mailbox, you're in it. When they open up their email, you're you're in it. When somebody knocks on their door, you're there. When there's a community events because you hosted it, and when they turn on social media, they see your ads. You are everywhere, and you are the neighborhood expert. This can be done. This is not a very expensive program to do. It's very inexpensive. It just takes a lot of work, a lot of setup, and then it can kind of be a system that can run. And I'm here to help build all of that. So consistent growth, if you stay consistent, offer free information, be happy to help the people, don't ask for anything in return at the beginning, just become the expert that everyone asks. It will pay you dividends over time. And once you have a system in place for one method, then create a system consistently, do the next method until you have land, air, and sea attack consistently running with very little effort on a monthly basis. Once again, I can help you with all of that. And remember, branding is a long-term event. It is a way to grow your business stronger. You are not going to expect results from this next week. You're going to do this consistently. I really think even though you're going to have better results than this, I would go out, blast a neighborhood, really trying to get it moving as fast as possible, but then really don't even look at it. I mean, for months. I mean, what is it going to look like a year from now? What is it going to look like 2 years from now? Get in the right neighborhood. We can talk about how to pick those based on the turnover rates, and there's another agent in there. Do 5 or 6 of these things, maybe 7 of these things, so that you're everywhere, all over the place. And then you don't have to be annoying. You don't have to ask people you don't have to be calling people all the time and say, hey, are you ready to sell your house? You just have to be the trusted expert that everybody wants to talk to when they are ready or when they have a question. So I hope all of that was very beneficial, and that we can take those ideas and work forward into a path to truly take over huge market shares from certain areas, neighborhoods, or even just a networking group. Of course, I'm always available to help, and I hope you have a fantastic day.